Good afternoon and welcome to this very special interview show of the Prode. For almost 2 years, Russia's aggression and illegal war on Ukraine have persisted. It's crucial, especially for our viewers in India, to grasp the harsh reality. Many may not fully understand the extent of Ukrainians' suffering. In Ukraine, women and children endure sleepless nights, facing the harsh consequences of the war. Unfortunately, misled by Russia's propaganda, we often remain unaware of the gravity of this conflict and the immense suffering of ordinary Ukrainian civilians. In times like these, it's crucial for us to stand on the right side of history and stand up for what's right. Discussing the Ukraine war and opposing Russia's illegal occupation may not be popular here in India, but we risk losing viewership and even becoming target. Nevertheless, here at the Prode, we remain steadfast in our commitment to stand against oppressors. In line with this, we bring to you this very special interview show. It's my pleasure to have a very prominent guest, Miss Oleksandra Matviichuk, on the show. Miss Oleksandra, the Nobel Peace Prize winner of 2022, is among the Time 100 most influential people of 2023. Leading the non-profit organization Center for Civil Liberties, she is a prominent human rights lawyer and a civil society leader. Today, we delve into her profound insights on this crucial issue that demand our attention and empathy. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and a very warm welcome to the show.
Thank you for invitation.
Ma'am, I would like to start our discussion by asking about your perspective on the Ukraine war and the current ongoing situation in Ukraine as of now.
To be honest, we don't know. Are we in the middle of the war, in the end of the war, or just in the beginning of the war? Because Russia planned to invest 40% of their budget into military expenditures, and this is just open information. Russia transform society in military one and prepare for a long-lasting war, which not just stopped the positive development of Russia itself, but will provide a lot of harm to Ukrainian people.
What are the geopolitical ramifications of this recent attack? That has happened few days ago that killed 4 innocent civilians in Ukraine. And what is your perspective on the role of nations such as the United States, United Kingdom, and European Union in supporting Ukraine amidst this whole conflict, and how this situation has impacted Europe and Western world in general?
It's a very interesting situation because, for one side, we observe how Russia regularly bombarded Ukrainian cities with rockets and drones. I live in Kiev, and my native city, like thousands of other Ukrainian cities, are constant suffering from the explosions and a lot of other negative consequences, which provides after these attacks. And these attacks have also some psychological effect. It's like a psychological terror against peaceful civilians in order to stop our resistance. But from this other part, Russia show some false signal to Western countries that they are ready to negotiation, which a real special information operation which Kremlin do in order to decrease the level of support of Ukraine.
The role of multilateral organizations like the United Nations in the conflict. So how do you assess their effectiveness in addressing this crisis so far?
The problem is that we live in very turbulent times, and I talk like this not because I live in a country which are suffering from Russian aggression, but because all of us see different wars and human rights crises in different parts of the globe. And these fires emerge more and more often because the whole international system of peace and security is not working. This UN architecture was created in past century by victorious states from Second World War, and this architecture provides some irrational privileges for some concrete countries like Russia, which is a member of Security Council and can provide a veto for any uncomfortable for Russia decision in this body. So now we are in a situation when this international system of peace and security can't protect effectively people from the authoritarianism and the wars. And this means that the role of personal leadership and role of countries which declare democratic values become more and more crucial.
So turning our attention to other global powers, specifically the People's Republic of China and India. So how do you analyze their involvement in the current situation? Do you believe that India and China have a role to play, and if so, in what capacity?
I have no doubt that authoritarian country like China provides some support to Russia. It's very important that China not directly involved in this armed conflict, and China not sell weapons to Russia. But still, we know that China help Russian economy to survive and feed this bloody war. Unfortunately, India also provides a lot of support to Russia because India is not joined to sanction regime, and it's a huge market for Russia itself. Here, I hope that Indian politicians will take a historical responsibility because if authoritarian countries support each other, democracies in different parts of the world have to support each other even stronger. Now we speak about some economical benefits, but it's temporal economical benefits. And if you have it in nearest future, if you help to decrease the space of freedom in the world, you will evade for catastrophe in long-term perspective.
Evaluating the efficacy of economic sanctions, as a diplomatic instrument to address Russia's action. So, what is your assessment of the effectiveness of the sanctions that has been put up on Russia?
Sanctions is very effective tools from the long-term perspective. And the economists told that in long run, the whole sectors of Russian economy will vanish because they can't substitute it. But for Russia, it's not a problem in the short-term perspective because Russia used other countries to avoid the sanctions and even import from Western countries technologies with using China, Turkey, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, other countries to buy these Western technologies there. And then, as a result, we found these technologies in drones, in Russian tanks, in other weapons, which are in our territory and killed peaceful civilians. So this is something which has to be fixed. And I hope that international community will find a way how to close this back door, which help Russia to bypass the sanctions.
Yeah, we talked about the economic situation. Now coming to the humanitarian issue. So the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine is worsening with reports of widespread displacement and suffering among the civilian population. So in your opinion, what steps should should the international community immediately take in order to support Ukraine in terms of humanitarian needs?
The problem is that as long as this Russian attack will lasting, this means that as long we need humanitarian support. So this problem can't be solved on this level. We have to, with joint efforts, to stop Russian aggression, to stop this war. And then it will provide a relief for Ukrainian people and for countries who provide this humanitarian support to Ukraine.
Where do you see Ukraine and Russia going in the future?
The problem is that it's not just about Ukraine, because Russia wants to restore Russian empire. And empire has a center but has no borders. If empire has energy, empire always extended and go further. This means it will not be able to stop Putin in Ukraine, the other countries will become a target. So the history teaches us that we can't compromise with aggressors, unpunish evil growth, and encourage other authoritarian leaders in the world to do the same. We have to stop it.
Yeah, so you talked about, expansion. So do you think that Russia and China both happens to be an autocratic regime, have this plan of, further expanding? So in Russia's case, so after Ukraine, do you think that, Russia is going to target any other country in Eastern Europe or in any country in general?
Putin tried to convince the whole world that country with a strong military potential, nuclear weapons, can break international order, can dictate its rules to entire international community, and even forcibly change internationally recognized borders. And if we will not stop Putin, it will encourage authoritarian leaders of China or other autocrats to do the same. And these fires will emerge in different parts of the globe because, as I mentioned before, the UN system of peace and security is not working. So, like, it's very difficult for me to predict future, but I see how these authoritarian countries united. China helped Russia to bypass the sanctions. Syria voted for Russia in General Assembly. Iran provides Russia with drone, and North Korea sold to Russia more than 1 million artillery weapons. So if autocrats united, once again, we as democracies have to support each other even stronger.
Yeah, and my last question. What is your message to people in India and to people in power in India regarding the Ukraine conflict and regarding their stance?
My main message will be that it's not just a war between two states. This is a war between two systems, authoritarianism and democracy. And this means that this war has no limitation in national borders because we live in a very interconnected world, and only spread of freedom make our world safer. And I'm very grateful for people in India who support Ukraine in the struggle for freedom and for human dignity.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable insights on these crucial issues that affect us all. It has been an honor having you on the Prode. Thank you once again for joining.
Thank you very much.